One. Hey everybody, it's Sammy El-Farram, principal broker, Total Mortgage Source. Just want to say hi to you guys. This is part of my web series that I've been running for the last couple of weeks, and I've been sharing with you. This week we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're not just going to focus on the finance side, just on the mortgage side. I couldn't be happier to present to you all a good friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine since I've been in the area, Mr. Patrick Burke. He's a broker with McGarr Realty. Patrick's been with McGarr now. It's been 17 years, I believe, right, Patrick?
Indeed.
Pretty much as soon as he got into the industry, I was just kind of starting my business up. I was may have been a little bit longer, but just an old friend and someone I really, really respect in the area in terms of real estate. And I think maybe now's the time to talk with Patrick, or at least individuals that we trust that have that knowledge, that are kind of at that grassroots level, that are doing it. So Patrick, please, thank you again for joining us. I know it's Good Friday. And, thank you for taking a couple minutes away from your family and everything. And, yeah, man, what's going on?
I am, it's funny throughout this whole thing. I don't know about you, and I've talked to a few people that have felt it. Every week sort of has a different flavor.
Oh, absolutely.
To how, at the beginning it was a lot of, sort of what's going on or resistance, or I can't believe it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
I found the second week was sort of, is this for real? Like, are we really sitting
So
here?
what are the 5 stages of denial almost, right?
Yeah, like, are we sitting here on a Tuesday at 3 p.m. playing Scrabble?
Yeah.
And then last week, because I've got a immunocompromised immediate family member.
Oh goodness.
I want to be able to
Sorry
continue
to hear that.
to see in some capacity. So my partner Jim Broderick has been, if we had to do boots on the ground stuff, doing that. So I've been locked down at the homestead since the day that the NBA got canceled, March 13th.
Oh geez.
So I really, I'm in a 4-week cycle here. So, and as many have, I'm not special.
Yeah.
And then last week was sort of getting into somewhat of a routine.
Right.
And then this past week that just finished up, again, I've lost track. It's Friday? Yeah. This week we just finished.
Right, yeah. It's actually holiday Friday. Yeah.
My wife actually said yesterday, she said, she was kind of digging it now, like this sort of this routine that we're in.
Oh, wow.
So just sort of managing as best you can, right? And getting more in tune with ourselves and recognizing we're starting to go off the rails a little bit, and how to bring.
And Alice and the kids are doing okay?
Yeah, they're managing.
Yeah.
The kids are actually doing great. And
nice.
The dogs are even better. The dogs are the real winners in all of this.
Yeah, I think so, right? Yeah, I think so. I actually had a friend of mine contact me, and again, practicing social distance. She actually asked me if I could take her dog for a walk because they hated each other at that point, and they needed to be separated. I thought, oh gosh, here we go. But getting into how it was constantly changing. I mean, I think in the beginning it was almost hourly. We were on the mortgage side, on the finance side, we were waking up, and at 9 a.m. one thing was kind of a policy, and then at 10 it was something completely different, and then by the end of the day, like, it completely kind of turned around. So speaking on that, like, Patrick, what can you tell us about kind of the housing and the home market in the Niagara region, and like where are we kind of at right now? And you kind of mentioned the date of the NBA. Kind of ended, and that seems to be right there. It seems to be kind of that almost kind of bookmark. What are your thoughts on kind of everything right now?
So the market coming into that was going like gangbusters. January, February for all of Niagara was the first month in the history of all time where the average sale price cracked $500,000
for the whole region.
For the whole region.
Wow,
$500K.
That's incredible.
And yes, it's not a heavy volume month, but the volume was still substantial.
Wow.
And then March was sort of split in two halves. You had the first half, the NBA canceled, Tom Hanks, all that good stuff. Sorry, it's my dog.
Sorry, don't worry about it. It's okay. We're all working from home, man. It's all good.
And then the second half was when things slowly, incrementally got pushed back or sort of suppressed by COVID. It's sort of two forces ran into each other. And so we wrote an article about it, actually. Basically, the month of March is a really bad, it's a prime example of where statistics sort of get watered down.
Right.
It was the worst month to do a year over year comparison of, because March is the kickoff of one of the heavy volume time of the year.
Yeah, the spring market.
And then so you have this and then this unprecedented, I hate that word now, but it is external force that combined, right? So we've started to track, and we're actually just getting it launched through the brokerage. Basically, it's a real estate market tracker.
Oh, nice.
And
Patrick, that's something I can obviously share with our viewers.
It's just up and running, full transparency, or whatever the word is. It needs some cleaning up, and so we had a choice: do we launch it now when it's not 100% beautiful, or wait another week because of the long weekend and wait for it to be beautiful? So I said, you know what, let's put it out there and then we'll clean it up next week. But we're starting to track things weekly and even right down to daily. So you can see, on a daily basis, here's the sales that happened in February or March. And then here's where they came back. Meanwhile, new listings were up here. And then once the government started to put up more, and that our regulatory body started to put up more, then you started to see the new listing inventory come down too. So it's interesting to track on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So we've got one for the whole region.
Awesome.
And then for all 10 cities: Beamsville, Lincoln, Jordan Vineland, Fonthill, all the way down to Fort Erie, Port Colborne. So
oh wow, no, that's awesome.
It's pretty intense. Like when you first look at it, you're like, oh my gosh. But the idea is, if you live in Welland and you want to know what's going on, scroll down to Welland and have a look at Welland.
Right on. See, what we're finding on the finance side, Patrick, and I'm not sure if you're finding that on the real estate side. Obviously, you know what, when we spoke briefly in the last couple of days, and we've been actually communicating quite a bit. You described the whole supervan stopping the train kind of thing, and what we're finding on the finance side is that this isn't a retreat. This is more of a kind of a regrouping, and like people are still moving forward. People are still looking for houses. People are still dealing with financing. People are still like the banks are open. Like a great example I like to use is I spoke to and I won't mention the banks to give them any free press, but 90% of the banks that we've been dealing with, 90% of their staff are actually working from home, and they've at great expense have set up like in terms of technology, security, everything, like where I would dial their normal office number to go straight through them. I think we're kind of more of at a regrouping stage in terms of, everybody wants to move forward. Anybody that wants to move or needs to move is still going to move. Anybody that needs to sell. Like, are you starting to see that a little bit? And like in terms of anybody that's looking to purchase now or looking to sell, what kind of steps would you suggest that they take, or what kind of, like, where do you see things kind of heading?
Well, you use the words want to sell and need to sell, and those are important distinctions.
Okay, perfect.
So the people that we're seeing out there right now are the ones that need to sell or buy, and a lot of them are the ones that are caught in the middle of the two. They've sold, they need to buy; they've bought, they need to sell. And as those people buy or sell, and they come out of the market only exists. It's like a garden hose. It only exists because as people go through the whole process,
right,
the garden hose needs to be fed, right?
Of course, yes, of course.
The funnel needs to get fed. And right now, all the other sources of activity aren't there. So the people that are tire kicking or thinking about moving, or if the right place, or we're going to get a rental property, or let's go buy a second place or whatever. We need more space. We need less space. All those people right now, they're standing back, right?
Okay.
So in general, like when we get a showing request, and this is interesting, I think there's going to be a lot of change in a lot of industries when this all shakes out on what the standard operating procedure is. And as an industry, we never, I don't believe across the board, asked enough questions before showings were approved.
Right. Okay.
Not out of being lazy. It was, well, you never know. You never know, right?
Oh.
And now before a showing's approved, man, we're asking an unbelievable amount of questions.
Yeah,
and I've yet to get any resistance from people.
Yeah.
It's got 3 bedrooms upstairs, not 4. It's on this street. It's an older home with this. About hot water heating or whatever it is, right? And whereas before it was different. So the activity now is significantly less. But if somebody's knocking on your door to see your house,
they want to see your house.
I equate this to like a monstrous blizzard. You know, if you have
Right
an
on.
open house during a huge snowstorm and you
Yeah.
get 2 people that show up, that's great, because those 2 people went through a serious number of hoops to get into the door.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's fantastic. No, I think that's a great analogy, and I agree with you completely. It's almost like the reason to leave the house. Why are you at the grocery store? You know what I mean? You're at the
Yeah.
grocery store. You're there because you need something. You have a list. You're in. You're out.
Yeah.
There is a reason why. So yeah. So
Yeah.
I think the best part is that I think what you're getting at too, and what I've discussed with a lot of my clients is they're almost pre-vetting themselves
Yeah.
to a point where you know what I mean. There is a reason why I'm out. There is a reason why I'm looking at that.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a positive change. It's going to be a lot
Yeah.
less. I think it's going to be a positive change kind of for everybody, including the people that are selling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like including the people
Well,
that are buying.
and this is where the technology, I think there's been and with every industry, there's laggards, right? People that will hang out and wait or not do it. But we've been using a, a bit more photo and video than the norm for a long
Sure.
time. And I think now, you know, one of the questions we've been asking is, have you seen the whole video? Or have you seen the tour?
Right.
Have you seen, like, are you aware of every aspect of the home? Because sometimes just like you'd have people say, well, no, where do I see that? Well, if you're going to look at a car
Yeah.
that you're interested in, I'm pretty sure you've gone on and you've had a look at it on a website
Yeah.
of some kind of thing, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think out of this, the technology piece and the whole vetting and the process before people go through a doorstep, I think is going to be different. Look at open houses. You know, what's the function of an open house when we come out of this? Will it be
Right.
looked at? Will it be looked at differently or not? I don't know. I'm really intrigued to see. I look at it, we're sort of in the second or third inning of this whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
really intrigued to see when the ball game's done and everybody goes home and what things look like after
Yeah.
that.
And what they've kind of taken from this entire experience. Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You know. Hopefully it's not gonna take as long as you know.
As a baseball game.
Yeah. I do not want to go 22 innings, whatever the record was that got broken.
Yeah,
However
yeah,
long ago. But I think you know that, and I appreciate the time, Patrick. I mean, especially taking you know kind of the positivity from there. We've seen a lot of changes, like even with like appraisers and stuff,
yeah,
where they won't go into a home; they'll do a full inspection on the outside of the home and actually give the cameras to the owners and basically tell them exactly where to go. And this is a
yeah.
video that I need shot, and this is what I need to be seen. And I
Look,
think
I think this is the key. This is an important part of this whole story. Is
yeah,
right now, it's April something or other.
yeah.
When you look at
April 95th, yeah.
when you look at all the data and the reports and anything else going around, this is, you know, for a lot of people this is week number whatever in isolation.
Yeah.
At some point you're like, man, it's got to be long enough now, right? But I think right now and next week is when everybody in our industry needs to be super conscious and aware and cognizant of what they're doing,
Right.
and its impact it can have on the greater picture. Because there's a lot of people, my family included, who have situations where there's more to the story than just being inconvenienced and not being able to go to the park to throw a frisbee with your buddies.
Completely agree. Completely
And so
agree with
a lot
you.
of people that aren't having the same experience going through this.
Yeah.
And yes, recognizing there's people that have to sell, there's people that have to buy, there's situations, those
Yeah.
I put those in one bucket, but there's a whole lot of other people that I don't think waiting 18 days or 22 days is really going to kill you. And
You're absolutely right.
and so if you can press pause and for the greater good, take a breath, because, and same thing with colleagues in this industry, there's lots of time to show buyers houses and sell
Absolutely.
houses and list houses and go on social and all that stuff. But maybe right now is a great time to sort of observe and be aware of what you're doing.
I appreciate that, Patrick. You're absolutely right, and I agree with that completely. You know, especially coming back that a lot of people don't know, what other people are kind of going through, and a lot of people don't necessarily want to share that. You know, there's everybody's kind of going through their own battle and their own challenge, and I appreciate that. I mean, you know, even in the mortgage business, you
Right?
know, yeah, for sure. I mean, we don't know, and we're not to judge, and you know what? It's none of our business to know. You know, to be honest with you. But like, you know, like for example, the last 3 weeks of my business has been not generating new business. The last 3 weeks of my business has been helping my clients get deferments on their payments. Kind of walking through that process, you know, for whatever reason, explaining what the process is. But the one thing you said there, Patrick, take a step back. You know what I mean? Take a look around, see what you actually have of value. I mean, thank goodness we all have roofs over our heads, and or at
Yeah.
least we're doing what we can, and everything will happen in due process. The other thing to realize too, and I think you'll agree with me, is that a lot of people, you have to realize we're all going through this. Everybody's in the same
Everybody's
boat.
going through some capacity. Yeah.
That's it. Like, I mean, like, we're all not able to walk into Tim Hortons and sit down and have a coffee. We're all not able to, fly to Cancun. That was kind of the one that, I've seen a lot of that. And it's not to slam on anybody. It'd be very disappointing if I had a trip booked. And I have friends that were on vacation that had
Yeah, man, we're all going
flown
through
back early.
Everybody's
But
got
we're
their own story.
all going
Yep.
through this. We are all going through this.
Yeah.
You know what? Like I said, I didn't want to take too much. Patrick, is there anything else you wanted to add? And guys, at the bottom of the video, I'm going to link all of Patrick's info, all the B Team's info. Patrick mentioned his partner, Jim Broderick, who's a really, really close friend of mine as well. Jim, some of you might know Jimmy. He's my partner in crime when it comes down to making chili. And you know what? Yeah, you're very lucky. I'm lucky as well. You've got a partner that can be on the ground and kind of pound it out when it
Yeah.
needs to be. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Patrick?
I think the one thing you hear about in economics, and for the record, I was terrible in high school at all this stuff. So this is just for me. But
why am I recording you?
well, everybody talks about me as being the stats guy and knowing all my numbers, and I also got a 51 in high school.
Hey, that's a passing grade, man. That's a passing grade.
5-1, baby.
Grade.
But the original idea was the market was here, and then we're going to have a V, and it's going to bounce back. And now it's more of a talk of a U, and now it's how long this part lasts, and until there's any kind of a return, right? Right now, the pricing is the one a lot of people are talking about. Yeah. The average price year to date is still up 12%. Whether
wow, I wasn't aware of that number. Wow. Okay.
Year to date. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Whether Niagara region or St. Catharines and a bunch of other markets are similar. The issue is when you get in a lower volume areas like Niagara Lake or Fonthill, Lincoln, where there's not a lot of turnover, right?
Sure.
But so that's the thing to track, right? Because when we look back we did another article where we looked at the 2008 financial crisis and in 9/11, we looked at the markets before, during, and after those events. Yeah. And so the price is always the laggard, like as far as what's going to happen with that. Right. But this is a bit of an oddball, but I used my finger to show as far as sales volume. Right. Okay. For 2020. Right. January. Okay. And then it grew into February. Yeah. March is typically up here, and April is typically up here. Right. Okay. See this and possibly that in May. Okay. So rather than sales being this much, we're going to be this much. So how that factors in the price changes, we're going to see, because again, less volume, right? Okay. But there's going to be a time where all of a sudden we're going to see, much like when we're waiting for the flatten the curve thing, where all of a sudden you're going to see, and it's going to start to do this. Yeah. There's this point where you're going to see sales are going to do this. And then the only way to watch that, though, is to track things weekly. Because you're absolutely right. You have to. A month is an eternity. So by the time a month has gone by and another week goes by to get all the data, you look back, and that's irrelevant to where you are right now. Yeah. So my only suggestion to people is there's going to be a lot of data and information out there, and the key is you got to get information that's relevant to right now. Because the old days, you could monitor a quarterly report or a monthly report, and it would give you a good handle on things. But right now, you got to throw that out the window, and and so I've seen, you see comments on Facebook where people say A, B, and C. My only advice is make sure that you're getting real information, whether it's us. Like we're pretty much obsessed with keeping on track of things. So whether it's us or somebody else, but I think that's going to be the public sentiment piece of this is going to be huge over the next month or two. Oh, that's awesome. That's my only suggestion is to just stay on top of it. Really long-winded way of is if you're looking at numbers, peel back a layer and find out what they're representing, because it's a weekly event right now. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And Patrick, you said you're okay with me sharing all that information. So when I do post this video, which I'll send you the link. Yeah, send me all the links. Send me everything else, guys. It's a dedicated page. Yeah, Patrick and Jimmy, two guys that I genuinely trust in the industry as realtors. I mean, we all deal with a lot of realtors, but these guys are genuinely or generally? No, genuinely. Okay. Yeah, generally would have been good.
Like, I'm assuming I'm hearing Alice in the background. Could
Yeah,
you pop her head in here really quickly just so I can say hi or no?
she's over
Hi,
there.
sorry, I said hi. But
Is
guys, I
my
will
hair
post
getting
all that
big enough?
information.
That's the other question.
Sorry, what's that?
Is my hair getting large enough yet?
Yeah, dude, it's looking good. It's looking good. You
Remember,
gotta get the kind of haircut that I have, which
wow.
is really not much of a cut. You know, buzzers in front of the mirror, and we
Well,
gotta
if I
go
could
from
leave
there.
you, I'll leave you with one idea. Is do you remember the Floby?
Yes, I do. The vacuum cleaner one.
Where are they right now?
Oh,
Because
they're
man,
shipping out of China.
they
Sorry,
were
that's
they were
bad news.
they were 25 years ahead of their time, man.
Miles ahead, yeah. But again, Floby's not going to help this thing. At this point, I
No,
need
you're
this
no,
would
you're
probably be something you'd use on a golfing green, anyways.
yeah,
Okay,
you're
Patrick. Listen, I appreciate your time, man. All the best to the family. You guys stay safe.
yeah, man.
Your entire family, and you know what? Just the best in the future. And let's touch base soon and just kind
Yeah.
of see where things are at.
Thanks, dude. Anytime,
Okay,
man.
brother.
I'll
Take care,
send you the
man.
link.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thanks.
Okay,
Yeah.
bye.